Hi everyone, I'm Michael Uriarty or Dr. Mike, and welcome to Technique Talk, the MYK system, and more. This is episode 38 in our series, and today we're going to talk about and more. And that more is don't get stuck in the how. Hey, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button. I have a lot more videos coming. If there is something you are aiming for in any area of your life, this series is what you need. Let's dive in. We talked about setting goals and that you have to take action to go after those goals. That's easy to say, and it's also easy to do once you get in the habit. If you're not in the habit of doing this, then we may get stuck in the how. So what do I mean by this? Well, you have an idea, and you want to think through all the possibilities of what might happen along the way. And this is the beginning of getting stuck in the how. First of all, it's impossible to plan for all the unseen circumstances that are going to come your way. Even the weatherman, with all of his gadgets, cannot predict the weather accurately. I did a search on how accurate are weathermen at predicting the weather, and here's what it said. On day one, or one-day forecasts are typically pretty accurate, 96 to 98% accurate. 3-day forecasts are not too bad either, about 90% accurate. 7 days or 1 week forecast, it starts to drop. You're down to about 80% accurate. And then here's the big one. 10 or more day forecasts are significantly less reliable, only around 50% accurate. So sometimes we set a goal and we try to plan things out too far. And we say things like, okay, on day 1, I'm going to do this. And on day 10, I'm going to do that. And on day 22, I'm going to be at this point. And so therefore, I'll do this, and so on and so on. And the problem with this is nothing ever goes as planned, especially if you're doing a big goal. Now, big goals take time, and it's impossible to plan out or think about all the things that can and will go wrong along the way. I've set goals that I knew were going to take 2 years. Others I knew were going to take 5 years. There is no way to plan out each step of these long-term goals. This is one reason why it's so important to write your goals down. You need to be able to see something every single day to keep you on course. You don't have each step that you're going to take for the next 5 years written down. You just have to have the end goal on a piece of paper. We control the step we're going to take today. We have the end goal written down to remind us which direction we are walking, and that the step we take today is another step in the direction of that goal. If you've driven for any length of time in your life, then you've come upon a detour. You had in your mind that you were going to drive down this road to get to your destination, but you didn't realize that the rain had flooded a part of the road. So now you have to go a different direction for a little bit and take a little more time and go a little further distance because it's not a straight line to your destination. But if you keep going, you eventually make it to where you want it to be. And that right there is exactly how it is when you're going after a big goal. Nothing is ever in a straight line. There are always mountains and valleys that you need to navigate that were unforeseen. This is why you have to take action. You can have a plan for today and even for this week of what you want to get done to get you a few steps closer to that goal. But it's a waste of time and even prevents you from getting started to try and plan out how you're going to do something or what you're going to do in 3 weeks or worse, in 3 months from now. General George Patton, he's credited with saying, "A good plan, violently executed now, is better than a perfect plan executed at some indefinite time in the future." Napoleon Hill, in his book, Think and Grow Rich, he says, do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand and work with whatever tools you may have at your command, and better tools will be found as you go and get along. Tony Robbins, in his book, Awaken the Giant Within, emphasizes taking massive action as a cornerstone of success. He says that action is not planning or thinking. Action and not planning or thinking is what creates results. He warns against paralysis by analysis. He encourages you to jump in and take steps even if they're imperfect. He teaches that waiting for the perfect moment or plan delays progress. He uses the concept decide, commit, act, and to start with small, immediate actions to build momentum. You don't have to get it perfect. You just have to get going. Zig Ziglar, in his book, See You at the Top, emphasizes starting where you are and taking consistent action towards your goals. He believes over-planning or fear of failure stops progress, and success comes from doing the work daily. One of his quotes, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Zig liked to stress that motivation follows action, not the other way around. Jim Rohn, in his book, The Art of Exceptional Living, teaches that ideas and plans are worthless without execution, and small actions compound over time. He would say, don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Take action with what you have. You can see there's a theme with all these guys and what they say. He would advise to start immediately, even with limited resources, because action refines skills and plans. Listen, if you plant a seed, you don't need to know every detail of how a crop grows to start planting. I like that one. That was one of his quotes. Wayne Dyer, in his book, The Erroneous Zones, believes that intention must be paired with effort to manifest goals, and overthinking blocks progress. He would encourage to act on inspiration without delay, as waiting for perfect conditions stems from fear or self-doubt. Les Brown would say, you don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. I like that one. That's a good visual. I like that one. Brian Tracy, in his book, Eat That Frog. Side note, I love that title, okay? All right, he says to tackle tasks now to avoid procrastination. Take action on your plan immediately. Do something. Do anything. Mel Robbins, I talked about her in one of my other talks. Mel Robbins, in the 5-second rule, said to count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and act before hesitation sets in. Earl Nightingale, last one. Earl Nightingale, in The Strangest Secret, said, we become what we think of most of the time. And that's the strangest secret. He goes on to say, start today. You have nothing to lose, but you have a whole life to win. So all these speakers agree that waiting for a perfect plan delays success. Starting with small, imperfect steps builds momentum and reveals solutions. Let's go back to the weatherman. A small step that you can take today is going to be way more accurate than any step that you plan 10 days from now. And the funny thing is, when you take one small step each day and do this for 10 straight days, most of the time your 11th step is nowhere close to what you had in your mind that it was going to be on day one. But because you've taken 10 small steps, you know with 98% accuracy what your next step should be. Set your goal, be able to measure it, make sure it's achievable, relevant to you, and put a time limit on it, then take a step. Don't plan out too far. Just jump in and take some action. Move toward that goal, one step at a time. It's the only way to get there. All right, time to stop listening to me and go do it. If you made it this far, smile.